live Q&A. Today the setup is a little bit changed. I'm doing this live Q&A from my tab. The camera and all the setup was not ready, or it wasn't really working that well, so I had to switch to the tab. It's a lot more simpler and it works every single time. But in any case, I would still like to ask for the audio test. So if you are already here, please do let me know how the audio is. Are you able to hear me? Is it clear? Are there any background noise? So on and so forth. So yeah, please do let me know in the chat. And if the audio is working fine, then that's great. Audio seems fine. Thank you so much. It's good to know the audio is working fine. That's great. No surprises there though, because the setup is pretty straightforward. So if the audio wasn't working on this setup, then yeah, I might have messed it up pretty badly. But anyway, how's your day going? How's everyone? How's the weekend going? If you have already joined, please do let me know in the chat. And if you have any questions, please feel free to post it in the chat. I will pick them one by one. Couldn't do live Q&A last week, wasn't feeling that well, and even yesterday I had migraine, so I wasn't really sure if I will be able to do live Q&A today, but luckily I'm feeling a bit better today, so here I am trying to answer the questions that you might be having. So yeah, please do let me know in the comments, and we'll wait for 4-5 minutes, and we'll let people join. And if we don't get anyone, if we don't get any questions, that's also good. We will probably call it a day, and I will get on with some other work that I have. Any tips for building out a data science / engineering portfolio for a student with not much technical career experience? What I would say is, first of all, I think you need to work on some of the projects, and you're specifically asking about data science slash uh, data science slash data engineering. So that's really generic and cookie cutter. That's not really that generic and cookie cutter, I suppose. Yeah. So it makes sense, and it's good that you want to be specific. So that is actually good. So for data science, I think you need to decide whether, well, you said you are not that technically aware of all things in data science, so you might still be just uh, getting into data science. So you can start with the like tabular data and do proper data analysis, because when we say data science, the first thing comes to our mind is machine learning, deep learning, those kind of things. But that's not all. And before we even jump onto the machine learning side of things, we need to do quite a lot of data analysis. So I do have a video talking about some of the interesting projects that you can work on, data science projects. So that will give you those uh, specific topics on which you can actually work on. But I think the process should be to gather your data and then do cleaning and stuff. And you need to first, and even before doing all those things, I think you need to first prepare a problem statement, which is very important. When you're working on your own project, you don't really get problem statement from your stakeholders. So it's important that you create your own problem statement, and then you convert it into a technical problem, because you really need to document all these things when creating a portfolio. When you do all these things, it actually shows that you know how to work on projects end to end, right from requirement collection to the deployment part. We'll talk about the deployment shortly, but I think this requirement collection and converting the requirements from natural language to a proper technical problem statement is very, very important. And a lot of us don't take it that seriously, but it's very important. So whenever you go on Kaggle or pull a data, for example, cancer prediction, simple example here, yeah. So when you pull a data, it could be a very simple problem statement that we want to predict the cancer from um from your stakeholder. But sometimes if the prediction is very easy, you just need to draw a line, and it actually very easily uh, differentiate between different cancerous and non-cancerous data point, then you don't really need to work on a machine learning project. So it's also very important to know where to apply machine learning and where not to apply. So I think those are the things which are very important when you actually start working on a project. And it's very important to document these things in a proper uh, documentation. You can call it a report. So that is very important. And once you have done all those things, then comes explorated analysis, which is very important. So one thing I've seen is that people who are just getting into data science and they're trying to learn machine learning and stuff, they completely disregard the EDA part. They straight away, they just look at which all features have some collinearity and things like that. They after that straight away jump onto the modeling part, which is not good. So you need to spend some time on EDA as well. Try to do multivariate analysis and bivariate analysis, those kind of things. And then you need to document those things as well. What are the findings after each visuals? Because maybe those visuals will make a lot of sense to you. It may not make any sense to your stakeholders. So you need to document those things. So it's a step-by-step process. I'm going in probably too much detail. I don't know if you want this much detail or not, but that's going to be your EDA part. And then comes the machine learning side of things. So when we talk about machine learning, everyone says that it's a trial and error sort of things. And by and large, yes, it is true. But sometimes when you do data analysis and you understand what is the nature of the data, from that you can quite straight away jump onto kind of a conclusion that yeah, this algorithm might work. Do I need to look into linear algorithms? Do I need to look at tree based algorithms? Or do I need to look at distance based algorithms? Those kind of things. You will be able to tell those things by just doing EDA, and you will save quite a lot of time. And that is also very helpful. Uh, and if you mention those things in your portfolio, that this is why I chose this particular algorithm and I did not try other algorithms. But once you have trained your model and if it is working good, then you can obviously go back and check other models if they are performing slightly better than what you have already trained. So that's going to be your machine learning side of things. And the last one is deployment. So there are a lot of other systems. You can deploy them on Hugging Face. You can deploy them on Azure, AWS, a lot of systems, GCP. So it's totally up to you which platform you want. So you need to host it and then create your inference pipeline where you can actually make use of those models that you have trained. And it's also important to maybe create a sort of a front end. That way it's a proper application. It's not just in your Jupyter notebook. It's very easy to have things in Jupyter notebook. When it comes to making a proper UI and providing it to your stakeholders, it's a little bit more trickier than that. So it's important to work on a Streamlit app or probably a Gradio app, something like that. And once you have all these things, one other thing I would like to mention is that if possible, try to incorporate some kind of database as well. It can be Snowflake, it can be Databricks, it can be uh, SQL, simple SQL hosted on your local system. So try to incorporate database as well. So you can actually show that you are reading data and writing back to a database and it's not just floating around in an Excel sheet. So yeah, I think those are the things that you need to do in a whole data science lifecycle project. And hosting is again very important. Once this is all done, then I think you can create a web-based portfolio using Git pages. If you don't know a lot of front end, uh, you can create a very simple static page on Git pages, and there are a lot of templates available in HTML5 up. From there you can get those templates, and it will be a lot more easy for you to do that. So having a portfolio actually helps quite a lot. It helps you to stand out, because when other people are applying for a job, they just send a CV and there's nothing else apart from probably LinkedIn and maybe GitHub. But if you have something else extra, I think it always helps. So that's a brief, well, it was quite detailed, I won't say brief, uh, answer to your question. I hope it helped. It's fine trying to self-learn while working on my bachelor's. Okay, yeah, that's good. So yeah, you have some time, and I think if you do these things, it will definitely give you very good understanding of a lot of other systems, and also edge over other people who are just writing code in their Jupyter notebook and trying to train their models. Do you know about quantitative developer and quantitative research? What do you mean, like in financial industry, analyzing the stocks and sort of things? Are you talking about those things? If yes, then if you have any specific questions, feel free to ask. If I know, I will be more than happy to answer that question. Is data science and ML not getting overcrowded? How to stand out in such an environment? So the answer which I gave earlier, that will help you stand out. And yes, it is definitely very overcrowded. And the whole data science and AI industry is overcrowded right now because everybody uh, wants to get a piece of AI market. So everyone is trying to jump into this. So there are a lot of people trying to get into the world of AI and data science. But what a lot of people are not doing is, of course, this portfolio sort of things. But now it is very common for them to do this. So that can also be something which a lot of people might want to do it. But something that is very hard to do is get your basics strong, and the foundations need to be very, very strong. And if you have your foundations uh, strong, then I think you will have edge over any of the people who are just building application using 100 different APIs and building wrapper on top of wrapper. So I would say, yeah, it's important to have your basics right. And when I say basics, it's maths, stats, machine learning, and deep learning algorithms, how they work under the hood, those kind of things. Because when you go in an interview, it usually starts from basics. Again, it depends on the interviewer as well. If the interviewer themselves is not good at those basics, they will never ask you those questions, and they would only want to understand what all applications you have made, why you made, how you made, those kind of things, which is a lot easier to answer as compared to some of the questions which they can ask, which can be very tricky ones. So I would say having basics right is very, very, very important. So if you are able to understand how all the algorithms are working under the hood, that will definitely give you an edge over other people. But that is something which looks like a backend. So you might know, if an application is developed, a lot of people get fascinated about the front end, how good it looks, how well it works, but they don't really care about what's happening at the back end. It could be a complete mess. And if you just develop a front end, it has no back end, then also people will be like, wow, this is such a good application, blah blah blah. But then if you create a fully functional back end but there is no front end, people be like, it doesn't make any sense to me, it is something which is garbage, we can't use it. Which is true, but at least it is something which is functional. You can actually put it in production uh, to do batch processing and those kind of things. So just like that, getting the foundation right is like a backend, and knowing to use the APIs and stuff is more like a front end. So having knowledge of only one is not going to help. You need to understand both. So yeah, I would say getting the foundations right is very, very important. Hey Asutosh, how to start with the web development? So I haven't done web development in quite a long time, but when I was in my bachelor's, I did do some web development, and the way I started, I was actually quite fascinated about web development, and I really wanted to learn. Um, you may or may not believe I learned PHP to handle the backend code. At that time, it was very popular. These days, less so. Most of the JavaScript frameworks are a lot more popular. But if you want to get into web development, I think some essential things like HTML, CSS, they are very important. Yes, there are frameworks like Bootstrap and stuff. When you get hold of it, you just need to use classes and stuff, and will create a very nice UI for you. But it looks very generic, and any website which uses Bootstrap will just look like any other website. So, well, you can definitely do a lot of customizations, but I would say it's important to have very good understanding about HTML and CSS, because that way you will be able to customize your front end as you will want to. So those are the things. And then I would say, if today you want to get into web development, JavaScript is probably the most popular language. So you should try to understand and learn JavaScript properly. Once you have understood JavaScript, then you can pick up full stack, and it could be one stack. And when I say one, it means M for MongoDB, that will handle your database side of things, and E for express.js, then React.js, and then Node.js. So Node.js is for backend, React is for frontend. So those things. So if you learn these frameworks and tools, I think you will be in a very good position to be able to build a fully functional web app. React is still being used by quite a lot of organizations, and it's very popular. But then on top of React, a lot of other frameworks have been built, like Next.js, which is gaining quite a lot of popularity. And trust me, there will be a lot more frameworks coming in future. So it's very hard to stick to one front end framework. But if you master one front end framework, I think you'll be able to do anything and everything in that framework. So unless something massive comes out, you can just stick to one framework and you will be good to go. So that would be my personal um, roadmap if I want to learn front end again. But if you already know Python, and if you want to keep the backend in Python, then you can maybe use Django or Flask. Flask is a lightweight framework to handle the backend stuff in Python. So you can stick to these frameworks. So you can replace Node with your Python framework, and you'll be good to go. So that's the kind of roadmap that I would take. And actually, I did try to learn JavaScript a while back, but lately I haven't got time to get back to it. But trying to learn JavaScript myself to be able to maybe create some nice front end and maybe even back end, and do the whole uh, Gen AI or maybe even machine learning side of things within JavaScript. So it's just out of hobby, I would say, and curiosity, how well it will work as compared to Python. So that's what I'm trying to do right now. So as and when I get time, I try to learn those things. Quick random question. I like Linux. What to I like Linux. What to now? Power BI, and want to know Power BI, and or doesn't work there. Do you want to say that you like Linux, but does Power BI run in Linux operating system or not? Is that your question? Because I don't quite understand. What about web dev in this AI era? It's actually a very good question, and I think if you know web development, it's very easy to build those applications, because as we move forward, this barrier to enter in the world of AI is getting low and low, and that's why this market has become overcrowded, because now all you need to know is to call APIs and stuff, and you will be able to build a full-fledged application. You don't really need to train your own models and stuff. And that's why if you really want to be a machine learning AI engineer, it's very important for you to understand the foundation and basic how to train those models. And moving forward, I think these vibe coding and these coding platform, they will be able to do these API calling and stuff fairly easily. So if you are someone who is just calling these things, you may not be very safe in this market. But if you're someone who's actually training these models, then there will be a lot more jobs for you in future. So that's about the understanding. But as a web developer, if you don't want to get into the proper machine learning and AI side of things, you can definitely quite easily build very functional and very user friendly AI applications using these Gen AI models. So I would say having a knowledge of web development definitely helps. And sometimes I feel like I should have uh, kept my journey or learning process towards web development going on, because I when I started getting into data science, I stopped the web development side of things. But if I had known both data science as well as web development side of things, I would have built quite a lot of applications. And there were a few applications which we wanted to work on, but purely because of front end side of things, it was put on hold. So that's why I would say, but when you're working in an organization, you get different teams and you always find these resources. So we were able to get it over the line with the help of some external teams, but we would have been able to develop it a lot faster if I had known front end. So yeah, I would say having a knowledge of web development definitely helps, and sometimes even give you a very good edge over other people. कैसे हो? मैं ठीक हूँ। आप बता दो पाइथन एआई एमएल के बारे में। Oh wow, that's a lot of question. um, कुछ स्पेसिफिक है जो आपको जानना है एआई एमएल के बारे में यूजिंग पाइथन, या फिर बस जेनरिक इन्फॉर्मेशन? अगर कोई वेरी वेरी स्पेसिफिक क्वेश्चन है आपके पास, तो प्लीज़ डू लेट मी नो. I can answer those questions for you. What is the best market a person can go to? I am a second year student. Do you mean domain when it comes to data science side of things? If you are thinking a domain, then some of the very popular ones, and I would say kind of evergreen, is going to be healthcare and finance sector, supply chain as well. So those are some of the very popular domains if you want to get into as a data scientist. But if you have anything specific that you like to do, then based on that, you may have to choose your own domain. There are many other domains as well, but those are some of the very popular ones. It's overcrowded, but I guess standing out and talking out skills, Python, SQL, Math, Stat, ML, that is enough, right? Um, yes, because when you say MLDL, they cover literally everything, because DL is a part of machine learning and Gen AI is a part of, or is extension of, deep learning. So when you say these things, and if you know these things, essentially yes, you will be good enough. But again, it depends how deeper you can go in these particular topics. The more deeper you go, the better. So In short, the answer is yes. Malik bro, I don't think web dev is dead in AI era. AI is new, scary thing, and industry needs web dev. I totally agree, yes, because I'm seeing quite a lot of people just doing vibe coding, not understanding how the applications work and how to develop a web app. But they can build a very simple CRUD application, but as soon as it starts to become a little bit more complicated, those AI tools and the people who are doing those vibe coding are not really uh, doing that well. So yes, definitely, web developers are still needed. And everyone, if you are finding this session helpful, please do give it a thumbs up. It helps me and keeps you motivated to come here and answer your questions. Please don't spam in the chat. If you have a question, please post it um, in one go, and I will pick your question for sure. So please don't spam. Can you tell me up to where the basic cover in a particular topic? I feel like if I skip some parts, I am losing out in data science. That's actually a very good question, because yes, there's quite a lot of things to cover, but then if you skip something, you may feel like you are skipping on something. So what I would say is, up until maths and stats, I think it's important to understand the basic definitions and how things work. So I have a stats playlist on my channel. If you go through that, you will be able to understand the basics of statistics. And if you then try to learn any of the concepts, you will always hear those terms in there. So that will definitely help you. But when you start to get into machine learning and deep learning, what I would say is, to start with, I think you can cover the basic algorithms, few algorithms from supervised learning, few algorithms from unsupervised learning, because there are a lot of algorithms. You don't really need to know all of them, and you may not even use all of them in your probably entire career. So just pick up few algorithms, and then from classification and regression, pick up few algorithms. Once you have grasp and understanding of how these algorithms work, try to implement them. And when you are working on a project and trying to implement them, then try to explore other algorithms that you might have left, because that way you will be able to cover everything. And when you are implementing those new algorithms, read bit about it, how it is working under the hood, and that way you will start to work on your projects, as well as you will keep on learning new algorithms. So that way you don't need to learn everything and then start working on projects. That way you will probably spend a year or some or maybe more to just learn things, and you will not implement anything, and it can become very boring and tiring. So when you start building stuff, you actually start to find things very interesting, and then you keep on learning new things. So I would say, as soon as your Python is done, maths and stat is done, work on some exploratory analysis. Once those things are done, and when you are jumping into machine learning, I would say maybe pick like five total algorithms from supervised and supervised classification and regression, things like that. And once you have those algorithms with you, try to implement them. And after that, I would say you can go into tree based algorithms, and then as and when you implement them, try to learn them how they actually work. Because if you're using sklearn or something, the syntax stays very similar. It doesn't matter which algorithm you are implementing, whether it's knn or is it's xgboost. Well, xgboost has its dedicated package, but if you are trying to use the implementation from sklearn, the syntax is going to stay very same, and even xgboost package has very similar syntax. So So yeah, because once you implement those simpler algorithms like k-nearest neighbor, you'll make yourself familiar with the syntax, and then you'll not have to think about when to do fit, when to do transform, which well, hyperparameter is going to be different for different algorithms, but at least you will know when to do cross validation and those kind of things. So once you have got a very good understanding about how the whole training part and evaluation part works for a simple algorithm, then you will not have to think too much about that. Then you can focus on how the new algorithms are working. So that is going to be my way of learning or even teaching if I would like to. So that way you will always see, or you will always have a sense of development, and you will always feel like, yes, I am building something. It will keep you motivated to learn more things. So yes, it is very difficult to figure out which topics to learn, which topics to skip, because when you go for a particular project, and different projects work in a different way, they will require different things. So if you're working on a time series problem, it will require something else. If you're working on a classification problem or regression problem, it will require something else. So I would say um, it's all about exploring and start small, but try to implement things as and when you go. जॉब में कैसे क्या होता है, फर्स्ट समझ नहीं आ रहा, न्यूरल नेटवर्क कर रहा हूँ, इनफ फॉर वेब, नाउ टेल मी अबाउट AI ML. I am doing neural network right now. What's next? Sir, I got irritated right now. It's enough. Tell about switch to tell. Mate, I will answer your question for sure. It's just I need to answer uh, others' questions as well. So yeah, you are doing neural networks right now, and you are asking what should be the next thing. So I'm assuming that you have covered all the other things that comes prior to neural network. So from here on, I think the next step would be the Gen AI side of things. Even in Gen AI, there are different things, whether you want to get into image generation or do you want to get into natural language processing or text generation side of things. And they use a very different type of, well, the foundation is same, but they use different type of architecture. So if you want to get into one of those things, then it's fairly straightforward. Try to look into what all things are there in image generation. And I have a dedicated video about um, um, roadmap to be a data scientist or AI ML engineer in 2025. So after deep learning, I have talked very deeply and very detailed about Gen AI side of things. So do check out that video, and if you want a link, I can actually provide you the link as well. Give me a quick minute. I will find that video and I will put it in the chat. Data science roadmap. There we go. Where did the chat go? Okay, got it. So here's the data science roadmap uh, video. So I hope it will give you some idea about what to learn next. Yeah, so I think it's important to maybe pick one image or text, but if you want to get into that, is also totally possible depending on how much time you have, and then you can maybe start picking up some of those skills. Bacha, you know You from VTU? So Kannadiga. I am from VTU, but I'm not Kannadiga. I'm actually from uh, Rajasthan. But my wife is Kannadiga. और जॉब के लिए well, all the things that we talked about, like building a portfolio, the projects that you need to work on, I think those are the things which are very important. um, so yeah, obviously you need to work on some of the projects and create a good portfolio. But it depends again, if you want to create a portfolio just for ML. But I would say, if I am looking at someone's profile and if I am evaluating whether I should interview this person or not, in that case I would look at all sorts of first of all, I will say experience. If you have some experience, then of course your knowledge will be very much directed towards your past experience. But if you're someone straight out of the college and don't have too much experience, then I would like to see what type of projects you have done, and I will also see whether you have used any traditional machine learning and deep learning for any of the projects. If not, then maybe your profile is not that interesting. Even though I'm hiring for, let's say, Gen AI engineer, then it may not be very interesting for me, because I know that you have just built some Gen AI application using APIs and stuff. You may or may not understand the concepts properly. So I would focus on maybe one or two projects, using one project using machine learning, one project using deep learning, then maybe one project using Gen AI. So that way you will have three different projects. And I think having three complex projects in your portfolio will definitely give you a good edge over uh, other people when you're looking for a job, specifically in AI/ML side of things. I am in the embedded domain. How are jobs in UK in this domain? If I talk about, I know electronics engineer, one of the electronics engineer, which the company was trying to hire, and they were having a lot of uh, issues, and they were struggling to hire someone because they were just not finding a right fit with the right amount of experience and knowledge. So I would say, I think the demand is quite low. Well, sorry, the supply is quite low, but when there is a demand, I think it becomes very hard for companies to find the right candidate. And the person who eventually got hired, I think he found a job very quickly when he finished his master's. So I would say, if you are doing your course in that particular domain, um, I think it is possible to get a job. But it's just, what I don't know is how many jobs are actually there, because obviously there are quite a lot of tool-based companies. Like the company where I work in, it's a tool-based company, and they actually require a lot of electrical and electronics engineers. So those kind of things. So in company like mine, I think there is a lot of requirement. Um, Probably they require more electrical and electronics engineer as compared to data science. So data scientists. So I would say yes, the demand is there, but again, I can't really comment on as to how many number of jobs are there, because I really haven't been close to that uh, domain. So I can't really provide you a very clear um, answer to that, mate. I think I answered your question. Beep code. I can't say that word. I might get strike and stuff uh, on my stream, so I can't say that. But uh, कोड भाई, आई थिंक मैंने आपका क्वेश्चन आंसर कर दिया है, बट अगर नहीं किया है तो प्लीज़ एक ही कमेंट में और एक ही चैट में अपना पूरा क्वेश्चन लिख के भेज दो। आराम से भेजो, कोई जल्दी नहीं है, अभी 20 मिनट है हमारे पास, तो अपना टाइम लो। एक ही चैट में अपना पूरा क्वेश्चन लिखो और जो भी आपके पॉइंट्स हैं वो लिख दो और वो मुझे भेज दो, मैं उसको आंसर कर दूँगा। क्योंकि एक एक लाइन अगर एक एक चैट में आता है, उसके बीच में किसी और का चैट आ जाता है, तो थोड़ा डिफ़िकल्ट हो जाता है मेरे लिए उस पूरे क्वेश्चन को लिंक करना और आंसर करना। तो अगर मैंने कुछ आंसर नहीं किया है तो प्लीज़ एक ही चैट में आराम से लिख के भेज दो, मैं उसको आंसर कर दूँगा। Hi bro, do you think knowing HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Tailwind, CSS, React, Node.js can crack? I think so, yes, because it's less about how many different things you know, and it's more about how well you're able to put things together. So first thing is to be able to write optimized code. So I'm assuming you know JavaScript quite well. So if there are any problems and if you are able to write those problems in optimized way, and you need not write the uh, most optimal program in first go, you can write the working code. Once it is working fine, passing all the tests, then you can go on to optimize those things step by step. So if you're able to do those things, and I think they also do it last time when I checked, it was a while back ago. I think they also look at some of the projects that you have worked on and your repositories. I think you need to submit a repository. I can't remember exactly, but I think if that is the case, then yes, if you are able to build a very good application using these things that you have mentioned, you will have a very good chance of getting into it. But again, it depends on the competition as well. If there are other people who have built something a lot more uh, complex and a lot more user-friendly applications, then maybe the chances could be less. So it's very difficult to say by just looking at the skills, but it depends a lot on what type of applications that you have built. Can third tier college fresher get job into quant finance? Yes, why not? The thing about tier 3 universities or the colleges in India is that it very much depends on what a student is doing in that college and what they are learning, from where they are learning, what type of projects they're working on. And if you have good amount of knowledge and skills, I think uh, you will be able to get the job that you want. And obviously companies will look at CV, and if someone has IITs and things like that, they will obviously give them first preference. But if they're not able to find a right candidate there, and if you have really good projects in your portfolio and if you have done something really remarkable, then obviously you will get some uh, opportunities for sure. So the short answer is yes, definitely it is possible. AI/ML में सारे algorithms कर लिए, TensorFlow, PyTorch, etc. Currently now I am doing neural networks, which is good. Question is how or what I should learn as important to grab a job. So I think you are on a right track and you have learned all the important stuff so far, and you have done TensorFlow and PyTorch both, which is good. Um, because in the past TensorFlow was a lot more popular. Now PyTorch is getting a lot more popularity. So you are covered from both fronts. So that is good. You're doing neural networks. So I would say obviously the basic architecture or algorithms like CNN, RCN, LSTM, GRUs, those kind of things. Once you have understood those things, then you can uh, move from sequence to sequence to maybe transformers, and before that you can learn attention mechanism, those kind of things. After that you can jump onto uh, how transformer use those attention mechanism, and then you can jump onto how image generation works, how text generation works, so those kind of things. That's why I said the video which I provided in the chat a while ago, I have talked about these things in greater detail. You can, if you don't want to look at things till ML, you can directly jump onto deep learning, and then after that I have talked about Gen AI as well. It is a lot more detailed answer that I can give you as compared to um, anything else. So yeah, do check out that video, and I hope that will answer your question. Hi bro, my friends in UK are saying don't come to UK, no jobs at all. You need to have 4+ years of experience and you will get chances. I would say yes, more or less it is correct, because people who have some experience, it is relatively easy. I'm not saying it's very easy for them to just get a job after masters, but it is relatively easy as compared to others who don't have any experience. Simply because there are so many people with experience coming here for masters. So if there is someone who doesn't have any experience, companies would prefer to have someone, and they're paying essentially the same. They're not really paying too much for someone who has experience. Some companies are good, they do pay based on the experience that you have, but some companies they pay this, they say like we're going to pay 3,500, and then people who are freshers, they apply for that job. Well, not 3,500, 35,000. 3,500 will be too less. So, and if I talk about monthly, is too much. So for 35,000 pound, people who have experience, they also apply. People who don't have experience, they also apply. So company has the ability to pick someone who has some experience. So it's just sad, but that's the reality. There's just too much competition in the market, and people are here applying for jobs with a good amount of experience. So someone who doesn't have experience, it becomes a little hard for them to find a job. Having said all the negative things, there are still a lot of people, they are able to find jobs with the right amount of effort with zero experience. So we work in, when I say we, the company where I work, we work with some of the universities nearby, and we try to outsource some of the research work or some of the mini projects which we think we don't have the ability to work on or the bandwidth to work on, and we just want to test the water, how well this project will do. So we give those projects to university, and if a student takes up that particular project and they prove to show that yeah, they are working really really good on the project, they were very professional, they worked in a really good way, the quality of the work was really good, then if there are any openings, then the company is open to hire those people. And it's not just for our company, there are a lot of other companies, they do the same thing. So it's important to pick your project. The dissertation project, in collaboration with some of the companies, that definitely helps, but it not always converts into a job role. So do keep in mind, some companies, they just are working on those projects just to test the waters. Obviously it's not that serious. So one of the things is that if you are able to find an internship while you are doing your masters, then there are more chances that you will be able to find a job. I had found an internship when I was doing my masters, and there were other people who were freshers, they were able to find internship, and then they were able to eventually convert that internship into a full-time role. So it is still possible, but it is difficult for sure. Yes. Bro, I'm going to join university in June in CSE, and I am really good in maths, but I started with HTML, CSS, and I can see no maths. Can you suggest CS field with a lot? Data science. It's that easy. When you work on a web development, yes, I agree. There is not much math, if at all. So if you really like maths and if you want to be in maths, then uh, data science is something which you should be looking into. If you are joining computer science, that is fine, because if you get some time, you can always dedicate those time to learn data science, machine learning. When you will actually, I was the same. I did my bachelor's in computer science and I really liked math. um, but obviously I also liked web development, so I was trying to learn web development. But then when I was trying to figure out what to work on as part of my final year project, I came across machine learning at that time. And then I realized that the whole um, maths and stats that I had learned is the backbone of machine learning and data science. And that sparked the interest in me. And then since then, I just started moving towards data science and machine learning side of things. So I think you are in probably the same situation. But if you are doing computer science, I don't know if it's for bachelor's or if it is for master's. But if it is for bachelor's, then you will have a lot more time and you are already in a much better place than I was. So you will have probably 3 to 4 years to uh, learn data science and machine learning, and then deep learning, and then other things that are quite recent, like Gen AI, agentic AI, those kind of things. So yeah, that's the simple answer. It's better to just focus on Python, SQL, and Linux to start building a foundation and go on to learning algorithm. Yes, definitely. That's probably a good way to summarize, I think. मैं कोटा से हूँ, राजस्थान में। जॉब सिनेरियो इंडिया में या फिर कहीं पे भी आई थिंक बहुत ही कॉम्पिटिटिव है। काफ़ी सारे लोग हैं जो जॉब ढूँढने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। और स्पेशली AI/ML, जैसा कि मैंने बोला, इट इज़ काइंड ऑफ ओवर क्राउडेड एंड सैचुरेटेड। आई एम नॉट सेइंग दैट एवरीवन हैज़ गुड अमाउंट ऑफ स्किल्स, बट जितने भी लोग आते हैं मार्केट में जॉब ढूँढने के लिए, पाइथन सीखते हैं, थोड़ा सा मैथ्स एंड स्टार्ट पे ब्रश अप करते हैं, एसक्यूएल सीखते हैं, और एक दो एल्गोरिदम में मतलब कुछ बना लिया प्रोजेक्ट और फिर सीवी में डाल के उसको आ जाते हैं मार्केट में। तो काफ़ी सारे लोग हैं, और उसकी वजह से जो भी हायरिंग मैनेजर्स होते हैं उनको बहुत डिफ़िकल्टी होती है सेग्रीगेट करने में कि किसका सीवी सेलेक्ट करें, किसका सीवी नहीं सेलेक्ट करें। और कभी-कभी ऐसा होता है कि अच्छे सीवीज़ भी रिजेक्ट हो जाते हैं बिकॉज़ ऑफ एटा सिस्टम। एंड उसकी वजह से आई थिंक इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट to build profile and make your CV and your profile in such a way that it's very hard for ATA system to reject it. Or obviously foundation and basics, they need to be very, very, very strong. So if you have those things, I think it will be okay and you will be able to find a job. I was just looking at those messages like again and again. Thanks beyond Nahility for intervening. I'm not sure if he's still here or not, but I hope I was able to answer all of his questions. It just becomes a little difficult for me to stitch all the chats together to form that particular question. So sorry guys if that spam bothered you, but not sure how to stop. I did ask him probably a couple of times, but I think he's used to being in a live Q&A where there are a lot of people and you need to spam. Luckily or unluckily, we don't get those many people, so you don't really need to spam that much. Hey Ayush, long time no see. How's it going? I'm good. Thanks, mate. So the moral of the story, just work hard in India. Like I have a 2 years of work experience in AI ML engineer. So if I come to UK for MS in AI and then like during my MS I should find an internship and then it's quite done. I mean saying quite done is a very um, um, it depends if you want to take it as an understatement or overstatement. But yeah, things can even go wrong after that as well. So you just need to be very flexible. Never feel at ease until you have got a full-time job. So that's what I would suggest. Always be on your heels and keep working towards what you really aim for. But apart from that, yes, you are absolutely on point. So during my MS I should get an internship and then uh, and then hiring will be done. So now what about further per, further PR? Will it be possible ahead? Yes, of course. So there are some companies they do provide sponsorship and there are some companies they don't provide sponsorship, but I think the initial step should be to be able to find a job, be it sponsored or not, be it in a company that can sponsor or not, because that way you will at least gain 2 years of work experience, UK work experience, which is very important. And if the company where you are working is not willing to provide you a sponsorship or they are not eligible to provide sponsorship, then you will have slightly less complications in finding a new job. And when I say slightly less complication, it means because you have some UK work experience and there are companies in the UK that trust you and you fit in that company, you are a good fit for that company. So that will give some ease of mind to the next hiring manager that yeah, this person can probably fit in our company as well. And by that time you will have 4 years of experience, and if you get some internship and stuff, 4+ years of experience. So that will help you get a sponsored job. So yeah, I would say that's how you can maybe take things ahead. Hi Ashutosh. Well, it still works out very helpful even if there are not a lot of people here. I agree, yeah. My main goal is to be able to answer uh, all the questions because it becomes a little hard to answer those questions in chat and LinkedIn because similar questions. So I try to come here and answer those questions. I've been meaning to connect to you over a call, but just been busy with work every day. How's your work status? Were you able to find something? And if you are able to, then congrats. And how's it going? What about America? Like, what your opinion? America is very volatile, I would say. In terms of salary and stuff, I think yeah, it's way better than UK. You do earn quite a lot, but obviously the expenses are also quite a lot there. But if you just look at how much money comes to your account, I think yeah, it's good. But living there is very expensive. But that is probably not the worst part. The worst part is the volatility. People get sacked that easily there. Today you have a job, tomorrow you won't. So you jump from one company to another company, and it's very difficult. You probably won't have peace of mind. So that is something about American job market, but obviously it is a very big job market. Lot of tech companies, lot of opportunities, I guess. But if company today thinks, yeah, we don't need this particular team, they can easily just chop that branch, and it's a lot more easier for them to do those things. Um, Apart from that, I'm not a big fan of America or uh, living in America, so for me, it doesn't really work. But for those who like America, or you think there are a lot more opportunities there, which are, but if it works for you, then yes, sure, America can be a good option. Do you connect with the locals there, like apart from job? Uh, no, I guess. I mean, apart from grocery shopping and stuff, no, not really. If you mean like going to parties and stuff, making friends out there, so no, I don't really go to a lot of social places. Well, I don't really connect to a lot of Indian community, I guess. I just have like couple of friends from my masters, and even with them, I meet probably once in a while. I haven't met a friend in like more than a year, I think now. So it's just I'm not a very social person. So that's all. But it's not like you can't um, socialize with them. Really friendly people here. So if you really are a social person, if you really like going out, you will be able to make a lot of friends very easily. How's your work going these days? Moreover, how's the data science domain looking like these days? The work is going good. Yeah, every day new challenge, every day new problem. So very fun, very motivating, I would say, because when you work on different things, every now and then it's always good. It's not like a typical IT or typical data science role where you're training same machine learning model day in day out. So yeah, it's going good. As for data science job market, well, the job market in general is not good. I was just looking at total vacancies in past 3 months. I think it has fallen below um, pre-COVID period time. So before COVID, there were like 810k jobs, but now there are like 781k jobs. So it has definitely fallen quite much from what it was before COVID. So yeah, the overall job market is bad, and so is kind of data science job market as well. What about Ireland? I personally think Ireland is good. It's a lot more smaller than UK, but I when I was applying for masters, I also applied for some of the universities in. Well, my initial plan was to go to Ireland, and I had applied for some of the universities. I can't remember which universities, but some of the good universities. And while I was applying, and the main reason was because the masters were just for 1 year, and I didn't want to spend too much time in masters because I had already learned quite a lot of things. So that's why I wanted to keep the course at 1 year, and they gave 2 years of post-study work visa as well. So that was good. And when I was applying for those universities, and when I was waiting, I got to know that even UK is providing 1 years of masters, but then they had increased the post-study work visa from 6 months to 2 years. So I thought, let's apply to UK as well. And in the UK, I found the course was a little bit more um, practical as compared to theoretical course in Ireland. Not saying that there is no practical aspect in Ireland. The courses are really good. There also you will work on a lot more practical stuff. But I personally felt like it's a lot more practical here in the UK. That's why I chose UK over Ireland. Uh, One other thing, maybe from PR side, if that is something which is very important to you, I think if I think the post-study work visa in Ireland is also considered in those 3 or 5 years. I don't know exactly it's 3 year or 5 years, but it's a lot more quicker to get PR in Ireland as compared to the UK. Unfortunately, no. Still looking for a full-time position, but on the bright side, I'm able to make some good money right now. I am currently uh, working freelancing in AI training, but it's not related to data science directly. It's more like RLHF job, right? Yeah, okay. So yeah, you're still looking for a job. There are few roles in my company. I did ask, I think I did post it on LinkedIn as well. So if you could maybe forward your CV to me, I can forward it to HR. It's in Poland, but they also say that it's remote. So it's not really in the UK, but they say Poland slash remote. So maybe you will work from the UK. I don't know, but from my side, I can at least pass on your CV to the HR. So yeah, feel free to connect, and we can discuss that. How can I book a session with you? The call link is broken. Is it? Okay, I will take a look at the link and I will update it. In the meantime, just drop me an email, and once the link is fine, I can uh, I can provide you the link. I mean, I think the links are working fine. If you are part of a channel member, I'm not sure if you are or not, but if you are a member, then I don't think you should have any issues in joining the meeting or scheduling something. Yeah, maybe give it a go one more time if you're already a channel member, and let me know if it is still doesn't work. So how's the next year? Is it good for MS? And tell me, like, USA, can we do internship during MS? In UK, so not sure exactly. So explain me start to end for MS, like visa, work visa, and journey towards PR. I don't know exactly the first bit of the question. Tell me, like, USA, can we? In the UK, so your MSc will be for 1 year if you don't take placement year. After that, you will get 2 years of post-study work visa. You will work on post-study work visa. And if you're able to get a skilled worker visa during your post-study work visa, then your path to PR will be a lot more faster. So you need to be on a skilled worker visa for 5 years to get PR. So yeah, the sooner you get your skilled worker visa, the better. But not everything is in your hands, so you will first have to um, maybe get a post-study work visa. Once you get PSW, then you will have to work. So in the worst case scenario, it will take 1 plus 2 plus 5, so basically 8 years. So yeah, in the worst case scenario, it will take 8 years for you to get PR in the UK. All right, guys, we are well over 1 hour today, but it was a good chat. If you have more questions, we can again connect next week, next Saturday, 12 p.m. UK time. Am I home next week? Yeah, on Saturday. So I will still do Q&A on Saturday, 12 p.m. UK time. And if you found this session to be helpful, please do give it a thumbs up. I would really appreciate that. And I will see you in the next one. Have a great weekend, everyone. Keep learning. Bye.